Hi guys, this is Mrs. Kusich here. I just want to give you a quick discussion about Match My Exponential that you guys did yesterday. Remembering you guys that exponential functions are when our variable x is an exponent. So some of the things that came up yesterday or came up today on the assignment was some people gave me equations that look like this. Y equals 2x plus 1. And it is very, very true that that equation does go through those 2 points. But the problem with this equation is it's not an exponential function. And so this would be an incorrect answer for this problem. If we're looking at the next problem, you will also see something very similar. You'll see something similar happen on this problem where 3 of them are exponential functions, and then they weren't quite sure what to do with question number 4. So as we go in here, I can actually adjust question number 4. Let's go ahead and change question 4 to y equals 0.3. to the x power. And remember, if you were trying to put an exponent in, shift and 6 will give you that superscript so you can put the exponent in there. And as I check that one and I check all the work, I can actually see my lines being drawn. I actually believe that this one is going to come up as incorrect. I'm pretty sure there's a red X underneath there. It's kind of hard because I have my camera right in the way. But if you look at the graph right here, it doesn't truly go through that point perfectly. So I do believe that this was really y equals 0.25 to the x power. So I do think that maybe that person just didn't realize that that was supposed to be an exponent. Don't forget that you should be checking the feedback on the side to see if you're right or not. I know that this slide right here gave a lot of people trouble. Most of you told me that Mark was correct. Mark's not right. Okay. Neither is Mia, though. So it turns out that neither of these students are correct. If we're trying to graph y equals 4 to the x power, we have 2 points that are hugely important. First point is the y-intercept. And the second point doesn't really matter what we choose, but it would be very nice to choose a point that goes through a lattice point. So I'm going to say we're looking at 4, 8, and we're looking at 1, 3 right here. And so what you should notice is that no, Mia cannot be right because Mia has that the multiplier is 4, not that the y-intercept is 4. A lot of you realize that the y-intercept needs to be 0, 1. And so you said Mark was right because that's the y-intercept. But if you look at it, if we plugged 1 into this equation, Mark's y-intercept would be, or Mark's point at 1 would be 1, 4. And 1, 4 is not on this graph. It turns out that it's 1, 3. So the equation we were actually looking for is y equals 3 to the x power, not 3 to the 4th power. Ooh, now I got to figure out how to get rid. Oh, there we go. So then I also want to talk about a couple more problems here. I want to talk about this equation right here. One of the things I want you guys to notice is that we have one time I gave you an equation kind of like this one, the y equals 3 plus 3 to the x. What that y equals, that plus 3 actually does is it actually shifts that graph up. It translates it up 3. We haven't talked about graphs like that. You're not going to be adding in your exponential functions. We're only going to be using multiplication. Okay, so that means that that answer is definitely not one of our choices right here. So we definitely can cross that out. We also should know that we want to look for, like we said in that last problem, the y-intercept. Well, the y-intercept is 3. That means we cross this one out. Now we then need to determine our multiplier. Well, we're going from a 0.03 to the 0.26. And so 1, 6, sorry, because this is 1. So it's 1, 6, which means we doubled our value. So this equation right here should be the one that we chose. Again, like I said earlier, it's really important that you have this information for our weekly quiz on Friday and that you can re-access this activity. So hopefully you signed in Google and can get it from there. See you guys later.